All right, Buff Nation, what is going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. Yeah, I got this camera adjusted. We should be good. Y'all be sure to let me know who's watching. Smash that like and subscribe before I get started. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this film room we have today. Of course, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you guys are having a good one. And this is going to be a really fun film room, I think. I've titled this 5 Plays Colorado Will Execute to Win the Big 12. You might be like, what does that mean? Dave, are you calling that? Well, okay. It's not specifically if we run these 5 plays, but all the time. But I'm trying to highlight some plays that I saw in the Arizona game that I feel like we're just so close away from executing well to where it makes a big difference in the outcome of the game. You guys might forget that the game against Arizona, it might have been our most complete game we played throughout the season, or at least in conference play. And there were just some things left on the table there that I feel like coming back into 2024, another offseason, a full offseason with Pat Shurmur, a lot of continuity remaining in terms of production and a better offensive line. We're going to see these specific plays that I highlight right now, 5 plays, executed to a much better level to where if that's done, who's to say? Who's to say we can't go undefeated, right? That's how I'm feeling today on Sundays. So without further ado, I guess we shall get into the film room. Hopefully, you guys can see this okay, right? And I'm trying this whiteboard feature out. We'll see if you guys like it. Just let me know. Yeah, it should be kind of fun. And as a reminder, I do pause throughout because copyright reasons. So if there's anything that's picked up or flagged on the replay, you might see some things chopped out a little bit. But let's go ahead and get started. Really interesting play call here. So let me hit go. 1st and 10, guys, okay? Ball on the 25. New down, okay? This is simple stuff. And this is simple stuff that, like, we could not run. We couldn't run against really any team last year. And you might say, Dave, what do you mean? Well, check this out. So it's going to be like a run pass option. I can't tell if this is Jimmy Horn or Dylan Edwards or Jimmy Horn or Travis Hunter. Somebody. Maybe you guys can tell me if you guys can see the numbers better, but have him running out here, right here. What I'm thinking Shedeur is reading is the defensive back or the linebacker right here to see what he does. If he stays, then you pass it off. You have the numbers advantage over here. If he goes with the man in motion, then you have, check this out. Can you guys count how many guys we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 guys in the box. Guys, this is like simple football stuff. If you only got 5 guys in the box, you run against that front all the time because you can get a hat on a hat, so to speak. All your offensive linemen can take a guy and it can really burst open a huge hole. But let's continue to run this play a little bit, see how it develops. See here, Shedeur makes the correct decision, hands this ball off. I think this is Wilkerson. And you see what's happening right here. This might not be a shock to any of y'all. This is number 65. And this play design, this run's supposed to go right behind Jack Bailey, but you see he's getting beat right here. Of course, you'll leave that guy free, this guy on the edge over here, if you're going to be running to the left side of the formation. So you should get a nice little run play that then breaks out for a large gain right here. The issue is that it is the interior offensive line right here getting beat, and against a front that should have been very favorable for the offense, it ends up being a loss of like 4 yards, and there was a flag on the play, so maybe that was a little bit of a penalty. We can see. It might have been a face mask or something, but you can get a good view of it here. Again, you see this receiver motioning out. Maybe that is Jimmy Horn. And you see here this lovely 5-man box right here. 5 guys right here. And we run against that, as you should. But see Jack Bailey there at the left guard position. Just beat on a pretty simple swim move from 98. Hankerson. This is Hankerson with the ball. This ends up going nowhere. Maybe there was a holding penalty on the play too. I'm not really sure why that flag was called. But this is a play in which, let's just rewind a little bit. This is a play in 2024 that I am confident goes for a substantial gain. Okay? Okay? When you're running behind Tyler Brown, Justin Mayers, Tyler Johnson, okay, instead of Jack Bailey, I am so much more confident that when you're just making the right decision here, which Shedeur does, hands off the ball based off of what he's reading with this Jimmy Horn backfield motion, I am so confident that instead of this going for a loss of 4 yards on the play, this is something that goes for like at least 5 or 6 plays or yards when you're rushing against a 5-man box, like at minimum. This is what I'm expecting. If there's one thing that I am much more confident in with this offensive line coming into this year, is the ability to run block. Pass protection still a little bit. We'll have to see, but there's a lot we can do to help support that. And a foundation or a principle to having better pass protection is running the ball really effectively. So this is something that I see. If we're running this, if we're executing this really well throughout the entire season this upcoming year, we're going to surprise some people, okay? So hopefully you guys enjoyed that play. We'll get to this other one. 15:39. Okay, 2nd and 22. Or does this go to 3rd down? Yes, goes to 3rd and 7. That's what I had in my notes. It's not 4th down, it's 3rd down. So, like this formation right here, it was interesting. I probably noted about 30 plays going through this tape this weekend. And side note, Arizona played a lot of cover 1. And it's going to be really interesting to see if a lot of defenses try and play cover 1 with CU this year. I don't think we did enough or as much as we could have to take an advantage of them playing cover 1. But I mean, we still put up 34 points. But there was a lot of points left on the field with this. This is a game, in my opinion, that I felt like we should have won, which is why it hurts so much that we lost. But let's go ahead and get into this play. This is another run where, again, 3rd down and 7. You're not really expecting a pass or a run out of this play. You're expecting a throw. But again, guys, like count how many guys we got in the box. It's about 6 right now. No, 5. See, another 5-man box, 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and we make the decision, whether this was by design or whatever, it doesn't matter. We make the decision to run the ball. And look how this goes with Hankerson, that tight end coming around to help support any weak side defenders. You see there's this massive hole opened up that should be here, and that should be held by Jack Bailey, to where Hankerson can just take that thing for the 1st down on a 3rd and 7 on a run play. Wow. Pretty cool, right? Well, this is one of these things where I think it works out much better in 2024. See, it's looking okay there. but linebacker's able to get his hands free. I think Hankerson probably runs a little too close to this specific block. Maybe you would have liked to see him more so bounce a little bit more outside a little bit earlier, as there is a lot of space here. But again, you're trying to get to this yard line right here. So it can be a little tough. But if Bailey's able to hold on to that block, or if the running back's just a little bit more athletic, little bit faster, I think you get there. You at least get close to where you can decide, do we want to go for it on a 4th and 1 or a 4th and short, right? If not, get there. Again, this is one of these plays where I really do feel like it's going to look much different in 2024, running behind the strength of our offensive line, which I believe is our guards right now. No doubt. I think we got a lot of great guys who can play that position really well. Again, as you can see, just tons of daylight here on Hankerson, here on our right side that we're looking at, his left. But 5 is able to make a really nice play here. When you're going up against somebody now, number 5, for instance, will be going up against a guard that is 40 pounds heavier and probably a lot more strong than Jack Bailey. This is something that I think will have a much different outcome, and it allows CU to extend drives, okay? So that's play number 2. Let's go ahead. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I forgot to erase all that. Okay. Let's go to 3802. This is a fun one. You guys probably remember this play if you watch this game. A frustrating one. Okay. So this is 2nd and 2. 4th quarter. We're trying to take the lead, right? Ball on our own 43. So almost at midfield. We had. This is for another film room, because I think I got enough content from looking at this game to probably just make this whole week Arizona week if you guys want it. It should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of great things that I picked up from Shedeur and some other things that I feel like the offense can improve on this year. But anyways, 8-yard run, so it's 2nd and 2. We just had this awesome run. Or actually, this is what happened. 1st and 10, we ran it. It's 2nd and 2. Then we run it again, and we're stuffed for a 1-yard gain, okay? So the first run was 8 yards. The second run was 1 yard. It's 3rd and 1 right here, okay? We need to extend the drive. This is where I see the offense having much more success at this year on 3rd and short. Again, I can't bring up the percentages, but if you watch this team last year, you know we're terrible at the 3rd and short situations. We essentially had to pass. See kind of a stacked box right here, as you do see a little bit more of a stacked formation. All the wide receivers are close to the line. You got a tight end to the right as well. And this is one thing that I'm hoping to see more from Pat Shurmur this year, is having Shedeur under center. I think that one thing that can really help this running game is running more so out of this formation, because instead of running all these RPOs or zone reads where nobody is really sure, the quarterback or the running back at the snap, who's getting the ball, who's going to be running, what hole you should be going to, like all this sorts of stuff. In a single back formation, you're handing the ball off. The back knows they're getting the ball. They can get momentum running towards the line even before they get the ball. It's very helpful. I want to see more of this, okay? I want to see more of this formation, but I want to see a confidence to run behind this line on a 3rd and short, as opposed to, I mean, would you really have done any differently? I don't know. We're so bad at run blocking this past year. We actually end up doing a pass out of this formation, and it's kind of weird because you see all the maybe some of you guys who are more football junkies than I am, I'm just kind of more so a novice when it comes to this stuff. But it looks like our offensive line over here, they're in more of like a pass protection type of set where they're not blocking as they would be in a run play. And so the linebackers don't really move at all. But then you kind of see over here, you see Hankerson kind of doing a little play action fake here. There's a little fake here with the handoff, but it just kind of ends up going nowhere. Hankerson picks up that blitz. And maybe you'd want to see, I forget if this continues on for a seam right here. We can continue it. Oh, yes. Running a little bit of a cross route. Some crossers right here, but guys get tied up. Then the pressure comes, and this play just goes nowhere. Like, that's the real bummer of it all, and we end up punting the ball. But this was a series in which you have a 2nd and 2, you run it for 1 yard, then you have a 3rd and 1, you just do a strange pass play that ends up going nowhere. You had Zay Weaver on this crosser with, I think that's Javon Antonio. And that is a good way to beat cover 1, but the guys get caught up here. Like, we almost picked ourselves instead of picking the defensive players right here. But maybe you wish Shedeur hit that, right over there. But it's easier said than done when you do have a guy already in your face coming from that angle. But this isn't a situation in 2024 that I feel like more often than not, I don't want to see Shedeur just taking a drop back and throwing it. I want to see a handoff through a single eye formation or a power eye. Like, sometimes it's okay if the defense knows what you're doing, they still have to stop it. And that's one of those cases where I felt like maybe we got a little bit too cute with the play calling. But again, with how unreliable we were in run blocking, it's hard to be too pissed throwing out of any situation, sadly. Okay, let's move on to the next play. These last two are going to be pass plays that I think we should be executing better this year, these types of concepts. So let me find the 14:31 mark on here. And I'll get to some of your comments afterwards. Hope you guys are having a great day. Okay. Come on now. All right. Situation here. 1st and 10. We're going back in time. The 2nd quarter right now. Ball on the 40-yard line. Okay. So what you're going to see is cover 1. So what does that mean? It means this safety here in the back. Let me find my little highlighter. You're only going to have one guy deep. This guy's going to be playing deep, okay? And normally, from what I understand about quarterback play, at least when I hear a lot of them talk about how they read defenses, you kind of go from the safeties in. You want to identify how many safeties are back there, and then that's when you decide, like, okay, this is the type of coverage I'm going to be getting. If there are any sort of option routes based on coverage, then you and the wide receiver should be on the same page of saying, like, oh yeah, this is the route combination we're running to the right side. This should be the route combination we're running to the left, all that sort of stuff. But let's go ahead and roll this play a little bit. Cover 1, Arizona played a lot of this. Travis Hunter is down at the bottom on the 40-yard line, you see there. You see the linebackers, they all kind of stay shallow a little bit. You end up getting 5 on a delayed blitz right here. And this is one where Travis or Shedeur is looking to the right side. I believe that's Zay Weaver. or maybe that's Jimmy. I forget. I can't tell the numbers, but you see the deep safety over here is drifting over to that side. What you'd want to see then is for him to say, for Shedeur to realize, hey, I got this one safety playing deep that's going to this side. That means I'm going to have single coverage on the left side, plenty of protection right here. But this is when he needs to get rid of the ball right here. You have this delayed blitz from this linebacker coming free. He's got plenty of space right here. This is when I would like to see him anticipate a little bit more. Fire this thing off. Travis Hunter's even putting his arm up like, hey, I got this. So then what happens is Shedeur doesn't fire away, and that blitzer kind of blows things up. Think again, if you're just catching the end of the play, I'm like, dude, what the heck? What the heck's up with these terrible pass blocks? But I really do believe that this is like one of these situations where Shedeur should have had, I think he had ample time to throw this away. One of the ways in which you beat cover one is by some of these longer developing routes downfield. And this was one where I thought he had enough time to fire this thing off. And at least, at the very least, it's a 50-50 ball to Travis Hunter. But I think Travis Hunter probably had a better percentage than just 50-50 with it looked like having him beat, throwing his arm up, no help over the top. This is where you want to see him growing his anticipation this year, which I'm confident he's going to do. I think a lot of the NFL draft scouts, I was reading probably 5 different scouting reports on Shedeur for the NFL this past year, and all these guys said he needs to do a better job of getting rid of the ball quicker. Some of it's the offensive line's fault. Some of it was the play design being terrible. Some of it was the play calling being bad. And then a quarter of that, I would just assign blame evenly. A quarter of that needs to be Shedeur anticipating a little bit quicker, firing the ball off when these guys are open. And this is one of those situations where I feel like, again, he just made that progression to the left side of the field just a little too late, and it didn't happen. But this is something that I am confident we're going to see better processing and a quicker release, more confident decision-making from Shedeur his second year here at CU. His second year, granted, first year in Pat Shurmur's full offense, but second year working with him. All right, lastly, let's get to 3802. All right, 3rd and 1. Oh, wait. I already did this play. There was a different one I was going to get. Oh, here it is. Play basically to end the game. 40-36. This is one where this could have been the game winner for us. This was a hard one to watch. So, of course, probably remember this drive at the end of the game where Mata ended up missing that field goal, kicking it from that dirt patch. We got to fix the grass this year, but it's 3rd and 6, okay? Tie ball game, 5:33 to go. This ended up being our last drive. Arizona had a great drive, just running the ball down our throats to take the rest of the time off the clock and kick that game-winning field goal as time expired. This was a tough end of the game because we never trailed in this game. Again, I thought it was one of the best games we played this year, this past year, if not the best, even though we didn't get a win. But let's check out what we got here, okay? We'll a little bit early. This was the Kareem Harden false start. Let me fast forward a little bit. Okay. All right, 3rd and 11. You got to get a first down here to extend it. or at least get some yards to make up for that 5-yard penalty to where we can kick the field goal, right? So you see an empty formation, 3-by-2, snapped a little off time. Looks like the wide receivers weren't ready. So that might have been snapped early. See the rushing 3, and then you got a 4th defender coming off of where I believe that's Caleb Mathis, where he's running out of. Gets a nice little chip, by the way. I love that. And you can't really see this, but let me get my highlighter out. Might see, man, who's this guy right here coming across this whole formation? Guys, this is what I love about Pat Shurmur, and I'm hoping we'll see more from him this year on this. This is Dylan Edwards. Right over here, this is Dylan Edwards. Hopefully you guys can see my cursor. And he's coming across in the flat to the left side of the field. And what have I always said about Dylan Edwards is that all you need to do is just get him the ball in space. And as we saw against TCU, he can take it to the house. He just needs a little crease, right? This was a tough play, as the last offensive play to watch in the game is you see the protection is fine. Arizona's kind of playing a little bit of a zone coverage with their linebackers. They're kind of giving up the flats, giving up that space. But you see, as this thing develops, it sets up to where Dylan Edwards, if you were to catch the ball here, he basically has one-on-one with this defender, because then you have Omari Miller that's blocking this guy. And there's a very realistic possibility that he could grab this in this flat route right here and turn this thing upfield for a first down, if not a touchdown. Okay. I mean, that's how dynamic of a weapon I believe he is. And we saw flashes from that this year. But again, plenty of space. This is where I wish Shedeur would have thrown it. I don't know what the progressions were, but you see Dylan Edwards has all this daylight. I'm sure this was one that went over in the film room. And what Shedeur does is he ends up tucking and just running upfield. And if he had just kept his eyes downfield a little bit as he was running, I mean, you had this safety breaking inside. You had Travis Hunter, who was, I believe that's Travis, who was kind of open here over the top. But ultimately, I feel like you want to be taking what the defense is giving you. This was hard to see, because I really do think that when you get Dylan Edwards with, let's just say, about 10 yards of open space, one-on-one with the defender, I think he's able to get that first down, extend the drive, if not score that touchdown. So this one was a tough one to see, where I think Shedeur kind of trusts his legs a little too much here. I would like to see Shedeur probably throw it 90% of the time. One, because I don't want him taking hits, and two, I just like the best quarterbacks in the game. I think they're usually at their best when they're throwing the football. This was a tough one to see. It was a gain of 3 yards, and we end up missing the field goal. But these are plays that in which I feel like Shedeur having another offseason to go through all the film, and have rapport with a lot of these guys. Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter, Omari Miller, those guys are back. LaJohntay Wester has been here for this spring semester. We got all the guys here now, right? Will Shepard, Baby T.O., the freshman coming in. Maybe we could see a package or a play run similarly to this, to where Draylon Miller is used in this way that Dylan Edwards could have been used. But yeah, overall, I think that there were some good play calls here. There was some good play design, even though this isn't Pat Shurmur's playbook. This was Sean Lewis's. It's not like all the play designs were bad. There were some that were really good play designs here for the Buffs. And I think again, I just think that we're very close to executing these plays much better than what we saw last year. Again, with so much change, so much personnel difference, and now we have an offseason to build on that. I really do think that if we can execute these types of plays, these 5 types of plays, much more consistently this year, we're gonna see you having the possibility to compete for that Big 12 title. I totally believe it. It all comes down to consistency. Going through this tape, I saw a lot of great uh, anticipatory throws from Shedeur, but there were also moments in which he didn't have that. And so I think just as it is for the rest of this group, Shedeur has shown so many flashes, and we've seen flashes from Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, all these guys. It's just about having more of them, being more consistent this year. And I think a full offseason is going to do that. And you're going to see overall Shedeur building on that this year and having even better decision making. So I got some more film rooms planned for this week, a little bit more centered around Shedeur. Again, I probably noted about 30 plays that I thought were really interesting. I'm like really good plays that he made, and then some plays that I'm sure were identified as plays in which he needs to play differently during those things or look at things a little bit differently. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. I think we have a great foundation to build off of, and I think the theme is that some of the stuff that is basic football philosophy stuff, like running against 5-man boxes, we could not do last year. And being able to just do that somewhat effectively, which I believe will do that more than just somewhat, this offense is going to be feeling just a lot better, a lot more cohesive. So thank you for hearing me out on this. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me get to some of your comments, and then I'll let you guys get to it. I know, man. Some of the stuff with Bailey, it was hard. I'm like, man, Sean Lewis, man, why are we running these plays behind Jack Bailey? Maybe Jack Bailey was hurt. Maybe that's what it was all year. I don't know. But Gearhead, you said it right here. Bailey and BB was one of the smallest and weakest guards tandem in the Power 5 football. They got pushed around. Should have same problem with Mayers. Tyler should not have the same problem with Tyler Brown and Tyler Johnson, much bigger and stronger. I totally agree. I totally agree with you. Yeah, Peter, I don't know what you're looking at, man, because do you got me on mute or something like that, man? Because I don't think there was anything wrong with the scheme of these plays that I highlighted. It was just bad execution. Like, I think all 5 of these plays that I showed outside of the 3rd and 1 pass play, there, 4 of these were done really, really well, or designed really well. The O-line may not be fixed, but you got to look at what they were able to do last year, and it is going to be a substantial improvement. Yes, yes, yes. And this is what I've been saying too. Shedeur or Coach Prime, Colorado could have a C grade line this year and still do crazy damage. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get to average. Like, an average line can block effectively on a 3rd and 1. Uh, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if things really start to click, um, it would be so nice playing from ahead in some of these games to where we can run out the clock, to where we can really bully these defenses down in the second half, right? I think we got the ability, we got the what's that word I'm looking for? Not compatible, whatever. Competent. We got enough competency with the offensive coaching staff and the offensive playmakers and personnel to where I think that we can put up some substantial leads in the second half or in the first half. That would be my hope. And I think these guys actually want to protect Shedeur. I'm not going to say that I don't think the guys. I don't buy the things of just guys were willing to put trash film out there because they didn't like the quarterback. I think that I'm not saying you're saying that, but I do feel like guys like Khalil Benson and some of the guys on the offensive line, Jordan Seaton, like they take it personally, their job. I don't know if the guys really took it personally last year, but it's hard to do that when you just kind of suck, you know? Right. Right. So, yeah, like I think I, when you boil it down, like I don't think there was any sort of, man, what's the word I'm looking for? Like backstabbing, any of that from the team. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know why the hell you'd want to put out bad film of you because you're just filled with so much hate and jealousy. That's bullshit. You know what you're getting into coming here to play. You could have transferred out if you didn't want that. So, like that whole sabotage thing, I think is ridiculous because at the end of the day, the most logical explanation, and it's the most obvious, was that we had some bad players on the offensive line. Again, when you're going power I, jumbo in like a goal line set week 1 against TCU, this is something that I overlooked, that I should have identified that I didn't. When you're bringing in extra linemen for that, and it's actually your defensive lineman, Shane Cokes and Bishop Thomas, that should have been blaring alarms for me that they don't trust anybody on that 2 deep to block. The talent just wasn't there, and the guys didn't know their assignments. Hey, Chairman, appreciate the love. Thank you so much for the $5 super. It means a lot. So shout out to you, David. Team looking completely different. Just pray our coaches can adapt during the games and seasons with the problems we will have. That's really all it's about. Please, I hope we get some competent coaching. Please, we have to have learned lessons from last year. We have to. Like, we have no other choice. I think everybody's going to be better this year. That's my hope. WTRCIP. I don't know what that stands for, but he's saying, I was telling you most of the season last year, Sean Lewis was not it, and you were disagreeing the whole time. Sean Lewis, it wasn't the right fit. Some of it was the play design being stupid. Some of it was just the lack of offensive game plan. But and the fact is that Shedeur in this offense was still able to average close to 30 points per game with things being broken all over the place on all different levels. That's why I feel much better about this offense going into this year. Yeah, and I would say especially second half adjustments, Karume, were a huge issue for this team. And again, the most inexcusable thing was that UCLA game plan after having an extra week of preparation from Sean Lewis. Like, I don't feel like we were mixing up the snap counts, anything like that. It was terrible. So, and guys didn't know their assignments. So we'll just have to see. But overall, I'm feeling much better about the competency this year. I think we're going to see less mistakes. I think we're going to see quicker processing from Shedeur. I think we're going to see more effective run blocking, all that. This is, yeah. And if we can do these things more effectively, who's to say we can't get ourselves in the Big 12 championship and win, right? That would be the ultimate goal. And again, it's all up to us as the team, as in the team, with how disciplined and prepared they are. And I think we got the athletes to do it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, shout out to Chairman A for the $5 super chat. Really means a lot. I'll be back again tomorrow. And I think I'll make this Arizona week. I think that this will Be a lot of fun. I know you guys have been hungry for some more film, and I was saving a lot of it for this dead period of 2 months. We got no sports going on, no nothing. So you'll see some more out of me when it comes to the film rooms over the next couple months. So appreciate it, guys. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe on the way out. Go Buffs.